Steve Cherundolo, tell us a little bit about where you're from.
Well, I was born in Rockford, Illinois. The family moved out to San Diego a couple of years later, and so I grew up in San Diego. Moved to college then, to University of Portland for a couple of years before I found my way in Europe at the age of 19.
Nowadays there's more players are doing that. Back then it wasn't so often. How does a kid from San Diego at the University of Portland end up in the crosshairs of a German club and puts 2 decades of time in that place?
Yeah, so the German club is a little strange, and there is a story that I'll get to, but I grew up with English coaches, and their influence on me was pretty incredible and great. And I also went to the University of Portland where Clive Charles was a coach, who had also obviously come from England, but had drawn a lot of his coaching from the English game. And so growing up with that and having gone over to England and got to watch EPL matches live was quite influential and kind of set the seed for later. I said, you know what, if I have the opportunity, I'm going to take it.
When did you know that you said, I'm comfortable here, this is a place I want to grow at and become an iconic player?
Well, I don't think there is that one moment. I do believe there are a lot of individual moments that lead up to that. And as a player, you kind of think from contract to contract. And at Hannover, it was the case for me. Whenever it came up to contract negotiations, I had a couple questions I needed to answer with yes, and that was, am I still developing as a player? Is the club still developing and moving forward as a club on the field, but also off the field financially? And then lastly, am I still happy as a human being there and growing as a person? And thankfully, I said yes to all those questions every single time the contractual extension came around. And that's how it became 15 years.
And you were able to start your coaching career a little bit there, but how did that set your platform or philosophy on how you view the game, just that time that you were able to spend there?
Incredibly. I think we're all product of our environment and our environments, and I had some fantastic coaches. I had a couple rotten coaches where I also learned some lessons and tools from how not to do things and things to kind of steer away from. But predominantly the coaches I had were fantastic, and I still draw back from each one of them, and I wrote a journal as a player, or kept a journal, I should say, and looking back at those entries now is pretty fascinating.
You still have the journal?
I still do, yeah, I still do.
You pull that out and just think?
Every once in a while, yeah. I did recently pull an entry out and talked about it at one of the coaching conferences here in LA. And it's pretty cool to read, and I would recommend every player to do it.
You were selected for 3 World Cups. Yeah, you played in 2. What did it mean for you to represent your country and just being able to play at the showpiece event?
Yeah, it truly is the greatest show on earth. It's hard to describe what it's like. It's an impeccably run tournament. What it means, the experience for the players is phenomenal, and also to have your families there. I remember, I believe it was in Nuremberg, we played Ghana, and I see my family like in the 6th or 7th row, warming up, super emotional. I don't know what to be excited, to focus, or to go hug them and shed a tear. So it really is a lot going on emotionally, and it's truly spectacular and a treat for every player who gets to enjoy that. So and it's worth every minute of sacrifice to get there.
Favorite moment from your international career?
Yeah, I think the game against Italy in Kaiserslautern, we tied 1-1. It had it all. Had a couple red cards, some amazing plays, emotions, a lot of American fans. I got to trade jerseys with one of my idols, so it had it all.
Who did you trade jerseys with?
Del Piero.
Oh, wow. Very nice. When did you know you wanted to be a coach?
I don't think there was, again, one moment, but I've always been fascinated with coaches and how they approach leading a group and how they get the most out of the group or do not get the most out of a group. I think if I wasn't a coach in sports, it would have been some sort of leadership role, maybe a teacher in elementary school or a PE teacher maybe, who knows.
You're still new at coaching, but you've had success at coaching, and I imagine you say, okay, this works. I will stand by this. But do you still catch yourself incorporating new ideas? You find something, you say, okay, this is something I may want to bring into what I want to implement.
Always. Always learning, always trying to improve, whether it's more technical work on the training pitch, new ideas, new drills. Constantly working with the other assistants, with Enrique, Mark, Oka, and Ante. What can we change? How can we get more out of the players? So it's a constant juggle of trying to include and gain more knowledge, include the new knowledge, and instill it upon your players, but hold on to the constants that make us good. And navigating that throughout an entire season with injuries, new players, all of that, is fascinating. It's nonstop, and it's a roller coaster. Eventually, when you get fired as a coach, you get a little break to reflect. But until then, foot's on the pedal and we're going.